Right now, universities, apart from essentially being money-grabbing entities, which somebody once told me was the case, they also seem to be bastions of sanctity for left-wing thought, where you kind of all decide to dye your hair pink, maybe put it into some kind of dreadlocks and drape yourself in the Venezuelan flag. However, there are, I believe, a rare breed of conservatives at university, so much so that a chap who's the editor of The Tab, which is a university newspaper essentially, at Hull, a fine institution. My dad went there. Can't fault it. Also, I think European Capital of Culture at one point, ironically, I imagine. Christian Calgie is on the line. He's written a guide about how to be a Tory at university. Christian, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Is Hull still really cultural?
Well, that suggests it ever was, but it's trying its hardest.
Good. You've got an M&S now. Anyway, right. So, Christian, you've written a guide about how to be a Tory at uni and get away with it. Because I thought the advice was going to be lie about it and say you like Corbyn, but no, there's more to it than this, is there?
Well, there's some might say that lying about your beliefs is endemic of any politics student, let alone Tories. But yeah, my argument was basically that I hear both from people in real life and a number of sort of pieces online that it's apparently very difficult to be a Tory at university, and I thought, well, that doesn't match my experience. So clearly the factor here is their personalities rather than the virtue of their politics.
Because I've always thought that if you're in a nightclub at university and things are going really well with whatever respective partner it is you're trying to pull, and then just at the crucial moment you happen to let it slip that you quite fancy Theresa May's policies, and all of a sudden it's game over. But you think that's not the case. How can you broach the idea of being a Conservative? Because as soon as you tend to do that, people must go, right, well, you're a racist Brexiteer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't embark on writing the guide of how to be a racist Brexiteer at university. That's slightly beyond my pay grade. Look, I think my first point was, if you're chatting up a fit girl in a club, don't maybe choose that moment to start talking about Brexit policy or the latest budget.
Yeah, save it for afterwards. I've always said that, actually.
Oh yeah. The cigar afterwards is usually the best time to bring it up.
Any other tips on how to get away with it?
Look, I mean, learn how to take a joke is the first thing. I mean, there's so much to laugh about, and don't be shy away from acknowledging the fact that the most prominent person in our party is Jacob Rees-Mogg, a man who probably struggles to make toast without the help of his nanny, don't be a snowflake. Really, just be brave about your views, and don't be racist. That's a good tip.
No, that's sound advice. That's sound advice.
It's all sound advice. It's all
good man. Christian, I must say, mate, I really enjoyed this. Christian Calgie, the editor of The Tab at Hull. One of my friends once described Jacob Rees-Mogg as looking like an 18th century mill owner that doesn't think twice about adding a few extra hours to the working week of children. Anyway.